So today we're going to talk about plateau, and I'm very, very excited. So today we're going to talk about 4 things. Number 1 is what is a plateau? Number 2 is what is not a plateau? I love when people come to me and say, are you in a plateau? I'm like, maybe not. Definitely not a plateau. And if you're actually in a plateau, what are we going to do to avoid staying there for a long time? And what are we gonna do on the last one is how to get out of the plateau. So what is it, what is not, how to avoid it, and if you are actually in a plateau, how to get out. So my first question is, do you know what's a plateau? And if you do me a favor, put it here in the comments. I want to hear that. I want you to think about the plateau being a form of adaptation. Okay, so I'm going to try my best to not be too technical here and break everything to you, because my goal today is actually make you understand every single thing. Plateau is when our body, our organism, it adapts over time. Okay, so for example, it adapts to the diet and adapts to the exercise. Think about this. Your body is constantly fighting to keep your body in homeostasis. Isa, what is homeostasis? It means that it absolutely loves the balance, the equilibrium, okay? So when we start on a diet and we're trying to lose the weight, our body's fighting us to make sure we're not gonna lose too much weight, because our body does not actually like us to lose weight, because fat to our bodies is a font of energy. Okay, so it's an energy that we have to preserve there. So we have to trick our bodies in order to actually make us to burn a little bit more calories, to keep in that calorie deficit. I'm going to talk more about it in a little bit. So that means is our body will slowly start fighting us, slowly start fighting our metabolism to make sure we're not burning too much, because like I said, fat to our bodies is what? Is the energy that they need for your lungs, for your brain. Okay? So do you understand now, when everything that you do, you start in a diet and you started losing weight, you were excited, and then boom, eventually you stopped? I wanted to think about this. It's like, what is going on? So your body, like I said, it's dying, it's keeping you, making everything that it can to protect those fat. Our body doesn't like us to break the fat. Okay, and what is the first thing you need to do when we start on a leaning process? What is the number one thing you do? One, it would be change the quality of the food that you eat. Okay, changing better quality of food with more nutrients. And we're going to talk about this. We're actually going to talk about that a lot next week on the warm-up for the leaner, stronger, not marathon, masterclass. For the leaner, that it's February 3rd. Okay, it's gonna happen February 3rd, and the link is on my bio. Go there and register for the bio. So now think about this. What is the first thing we do? It's increase the quality, and second, decrease the amount of food. Okay, the amount of energy. If you think about food and calories and energy, put in our body. And when you think about this and you're like, okay, slowly, if we actually started decreasing, your body's gonna lose their weight. So I like to divide this in 3 phases. Okay, and then the phase number 1 I call the shock phase, which is that phase that you normally see the biggest change. Why? Because your body is getting used to you're doing certain things a certain way, and then you come and you change things. You do that shock, you change completely your nutrition plan, you start training, so your body goes a little bit crazy, like I said, a shock mode, and that would make your body to start needing more calories. And when you have, so let's talk about maintenance calorie a little bit. So you know that to lose weight, okay, to end up losing weight, we have to burn more than we eat, right? So burn more than we eat. Okay, and I end up gaining the weight. What happened is we have a surplus of calories, right? That means is we're eating more than we're burning. Okay, great. So once we understand this, you understand that once you are in maintenance, it's meaning I'm burning this much, and then I am feeding myself, I'm getting this much of energy. Okay, great. So for example, my case, I live on a maintenance. I got to a point that I am on a maintenance for a long time, meaning I'm maintaining my same weight the same time. Okay. But if I want to gain the weight, I need to eat a little bit more. If I want to lose the weight, I need to decrease the amount of calories a little bit more. So that's perfect. So now the first phase of your leaning process would be your shocking phase, the phase that you see the most change happening. And then the second phase is the phase that it's going to be pretty much your adaptation. So that means your body's not going to burn as much, okay, but it's still going to lose. And then at the end, well, not the end, but after about 2-3 months, that is going to call the adaptation phase. In the adaptation phase, things get a little bit slower, and it could happen that you get on a plateau. It could happen that you're not losing the same speed. And my question is, what to do and absolutely what to do when this happens. We're going to talk about this today. But before, I want to talk about what not is. What is not a plateau? A plateau is, so for example, I'm going to put in a scenario, okay? So imagine Annie, okay? Imagine Annie. Annie started on her leaning phase. Her first phase is what? Shocking phase. She started losing the weight. And then by the time of 2-3 weeks, Annie's not losing as much, meaning it's the third week. So she didn't have the same energy. She didn't have a coach. She didn't have a training. But then she stopped slowing down a little bit. She started making exceptions. Oh, okay, it's just this a little bit more. Oh, I'm just going to eat a little bit here or a little bit there. Now, my question to you is, when Annie comes to me and she meets me and she was like, oh, I'm in the second week, but I got a plateau. And I'll be like, did you really got a plateau, or you're not training as hard? Number one. Number two is, are you eating the same amount of foods that you were? In the beginning, listen, I'm very, very restricted diet. It's not what we go for. Absolutely. When we're doing a leaning process, not where you go to. But in the beginning, if I'm moving 300, 400, 450 calories out of your food, we have to have that consistency of how many calories you're eating a day. Okay. So if you have any questions, just come here and let me know. So now, if you don't understand the fact that you're like, okay, I don't know why I'm not losing, it must be the plateau, we need to really analyze and see if it's a plateau. Maybe you need to ask yourself, am I being really consistent on my food? Am I taking the same amount of steps? Am I training with the same intensity? That is what you need to think about it, okay? That's what you need to focus about it. Are you doing these exact same things that you were doing 3 weeks ago? You have to be honest. If you're not, it's okay. Just adjust and keep going. Does this make sense? I want to make sure that makes sense. So I said we're going to talk about what is the plateau and what is not the plateau. So now we know what is a plateau and what is not a plateau. Okay? What's a plateau? What is not a plateau? Now the second and the third and fourth thing that we're going to hit today is, okay, Isa, fine, I'm not on a plateau. Or Isa, actually, no, I am doing everything the way I'm supposed to do it. I'm actually hitting a plateau. I'm eating, I'm doing everything right, but I'm hitting at a plateau. What can I do? Now, right here, okay? Now, what to do when you hit a plateau, okay? Number one is calm down, okay? Number one, how about that? Before I say how to get out, let's say how to avoid. Because if we understand how to avoid, it'll be easy to not get out if you're not in that case. Okay, so let's go. How to avoid. The number one thing to avoid is restrictive diets. Okay, when we talk about restricted diet, what is it? If you're eating, Isa, I don't know how many calories you're eating a day. Great, go to MyFitnessPal, spend a 1 week, 5 days. Enter everything. Make sure you enter. Be careful. Next week, we're going to talk more about MyFitnessPal and how you be careful logging in your food to make sure you're not, logging the wrong way. But like carefully log your food. And then you take a look at what you're eating that week. Okay, we got it. So then you're going to take food out of that. You're going to take calories out of that. Could it be 300, 400? Depends on your goals. It depends on where you at, right? So now when women come to me, sometimes they took out almost 1,000 calories out of their diet. They're eating 800 calories. They're eating 1,000 calories a day. So that is what we call restrictive diets. They wonder they're so little in calories. They're so restricted. They took entire macronutrients like carbs, for example. So if you decided to go in keto, but you decided to go in keto for a long period of time. I have women who talk to me, they're in keto for an entire year. Okay, so that is a very restrictive diet. So, okay, so what happened to this? When you go on a big restricted diet, when like, for example, keto, for example, the problem with keto, it's not that it's a bad diet, but it's a strategy. It's a strategy that you're supposed to do it for few weeks at a time, not a very long time. So if you're the person, if you're watching, if you're the person that you're doing keto for a long time, send me a DM. Let's talk a little bit about that, okay? Because think about this. When you completely take entire macro out of your diet, and what I'm talking about is, what is a macro, right? Protein, fats, and carbs, okay? But fiber and water, we're gonna count as well as a macro, okay? So now check this out. You took entire carbs out of your diet. But you have to remember that you're not just taking the carbs. You're also taking the fiber, which is the type of carb. You're taking the micronutrients. You're taking the minerals and the vitamins, which our body absolutely need in order to burn the fat, in order to make our body work in a more effective way. So you're like, okay, so you tell me that I'm actually not burning enough fat because I'm not eating the tiny macronutrients? I'll be like, yes, absolutely. Okay, so you gotta be careful. Can't just go crazy and just count the calories. A calorie is not a calorie. And we're gonna talk more about this on the masterclass. And that's why we're doing this week. We're doing this warm up this week. We're doing the warm up next week. Next week, we're going to do even more lives. Isa, can you explain a little bit more about the quality of the food? Yes, absolutely. So think about this. Brown rice and bread. We talk a little bit about this. So brown rice and bread. Once I decided to say, okay, I look MyFitnessPal and I had to eat 150 grams of carbs, boom, it's fine. I'm going to eat the bread because bread's carb and brown rice is carb. But it's not fair to the brown rice. It's not fair to the bread that you compare both, because one's going to have a lot of nutrients. You're going to have a lot of minerals, a lot of vitamins, stuff that you need to actually make your body burn more fat. And you're like, okay, I got it. So cannot lower my food too much and cannot just eat any type of carbs or any type of protein or any type of this. Okay, I got it. I'm like, great. Now, the second thing you need to do to avoid hitting a plateau really fast would be exercising. And what I mean by that is, have you met anyone that do the same classes over and over again? They do the same type of exercise over and over again. They go to the gym and they do the same machines over and over, or they work out from home and they use the same dumbbells, the same weight over and over again. Do you see what I'm talking about? You have to modify your exercise. Now, we have to start thinking about strength training, okay? And we're going to talk about everything about strength training, absolutely everything, on that masterclass that I told you on February 3rd. And if you want, go ahead and save your spot. The link is on my bio, okay? Just go there, quick click, reserve your spot. We're doing one day only, and it's probably gonna be on Zoom or something small, so I can like be more active with you guys, interactive more with you guys, so we can ask more questions, okay? So why do we need a strength training? Because the strength training is actually going to make your body burn more calories. What do you mean, Isa? I mean is, look, if I'm just exercising, okay? But I'm not actually asking my muscles. I'm not actually creating little tiny cuts on my muscle. So I can go there, eat the protein, and make my muscle stronger. I'm not gonna build more muscle. And once you start, I think that's the main mistakes that I see when somebody's trying to get lean. They don't know the difference between burn fat and lose weight, okay? So they end up just focus on losing weight. That's when they plateau. Do you see what I'm talking about? So instead of just focus on losing the weight, I want you to start focus on burning the fat. How do I do that? Making sure you're doing strength training. And so you keep the muscles, because the more muscle you have, the more calorie you're going to burn the rest when you're sitting doing nothing. Okay? So how can I avoid hitting a plateau too fast? One, we talk about is quality of the nutrient that you're eating. Okay? Do not reduce the food dramatically. Do not go on an 800 calorie, 1,000 calorie. Second would be the exercise. Okay, make sure you are exercising hard. Make sure you're doing strength training. Now, the number 3, it's water. We completely forgot how much water we have to drink. Okay, I am pushing you to drink from 2 to 3 liters a day. Oh, Isa, how can I drink? I forget. Just sit. Every time you sit to work, sit with a water bottle next to you, because you are going to drink and you're not even going to notice. You're going to drink without noticing. So the idea is make it so easy that it's right in front of you. So those are the main 3 things that you need to do in order to don't hit the plateau really fast. So you need to really be true to yourself and figure it out. Like, am I really in a plateau? Am I following my meal plan really well? Am I actually drinking the water? Am I actually not slacking on my training? That is the main question. If you truly said yes, okay, great. Now you know what to do to avoid. Now we're going to talk about what to do if you're stuck in a plateau. If you're doing everything right, the intensity of your training is good. If you are actually eating your meal plan, and that I had this conversation with my girls 100 times with each one of them to make sure, how do we change a little thing, how we use strategies? Because the whole point here is to me as a coach, for example, I have a hat with tons of strategies and systems that I can use. And when I have a client, then I would do something in her body, which is normally trying to adapt. We change the stimulus. We immediately do little things to avoid this from happening. So we talk about strength training. That's the reason that I change my clients every training every month. So this way I hit them with different stimulus with like a periodization, okay, in different months. And we're going to talk about a little bit like this. Now, thing is, how to get out if you're stuck in a plateau. The number 1 is change your nutrition protocol. Why do I call nutrition protocol and why do I have to call like this? It's because every time they use the word diet, it gets such a bad connotation. Every time I use the word diet, the first thing that comes in people's head is steamed broccoli and dried chicken and brown rice. I don't know if you agree with me, but if you agree, you can put a yes. Like, that's true. So I like to say nutrition protocol or meal plan. Those are easier way to start thinking about food, right? Because what we want in order to actually have a lean body, you need to something that's sustainable. I can talk to Rich because I love like Rich is here, okay? Rich is on a meal plan. She has a nutrition protocol. And then in 4 weeks from now, we notice that Rich is not moving the way she's supposed to move. We'll switch. We'll use a strategy. Remember in the beginning, I talked about keto. Okay, I love keto as a strategy. Okay, I know I'm not gonna get in the whole keto now, just right now. Maybe one day we can come out here and just talk about keto. But I know there's a lot of benefits of keto for people with hormonal imbalance, and that's a whole different thing. Diabetes, that's a whole different thing. But what I'm talking about, I can use keto or a low carb diet or intermittent fasting just to shock, for example, Rich system or any of my girl systems. Okay, so I use that as a strategy. We'll do 1 week, we'll do 2 weeks, do that shock, boom, go back. Okay, because your body, like I said in the beginning, your body will do everything it can to adapt. Your body will fight you to be on like that nice homeostasis. Okay, so that is the number one thing you can do. Number two, what can else you do? Exercise. Remember when I said, have you met somebody to do the same exercise, same time, same hour, same doing everything, same weights? Your body will also adapt. Remember what I said? To build muscle, you actually have to make tiny little micro tears on your muscles, lift heavy. If you don't do that, if you don't do more tiny little micro, will be like this. Think a car. You have like a really cool car and you have your nutrition, your protein is the gas. If you're not exercising, meaning if you're not driving your car, you can put as much protein you want. Your body's not going to be hungry. Your car is not going to be hungry for gas. Okay. So you actually have to push your body. You have to do strength training, and not just strength training with a very organized plan. Yesterday, we talked so much about plans, organized plans. So this way you're changing the stimulus of your body. You're actually increasing. You're doing what we call progressive overload. Okay. So to give you a context, for example, like I love data. I'm like super obsessed with data. My girls have on their app, they use on their profile, they put exactly how many reps, exactly how much weight they use for each exercise. And once we want to increase, once I want to check it out, the first thing I do is go there every week, take a look at their training for that week. And I'm like, you are doing the same exercise with the same weights the whole week. How are we gonna make this better? How are we gonna push your body in a way that we're actually gonna build more muscle so we can burn more calorie at rest? Remember what I said about the calorie balance? The more we burn, right? The more you burn. When you're eating this way, you end up losing weight. You're in a calorie deficit, okay? But if you don't change the food, if you don't change the stimulus of your training, your metabolism is too smart. Your body's too smart. We'll adapt to that. And then you're going to be in a maintenance, meaning you're not going to burn anymore, okay? So now we got this. We know that you have to change the protocol and you have to change the training. Oh, Isa, if that means that I'm gonna become the bunny, we talk about the bunny a lot. And if you don't know what the bunny is, you need to come to the masterclass. It's February 3rd, and the link is on my bio. Just go there and get a spot, because this year we have to do very, very small, because I think we're gonna do on Zoom, and I only have few spots on Zoom, okay? What the bunny means is the person that hops from class to class, and they do everything with no direction. When they just go for one stimulus to another. But if I go to body pump one day, body combat another day, I do the body things a lot because in Brazil, the body system is really famous. So that's all the classes that I know, because I don't do class. We lift heavy. Me and my girls, we lift heavy. So when you go to those body pump, body this, body that, like Pilates class, when you do all those things different, that means is, how do you know you're actually increasing? How do you know you're progressing? How do you know you're actually lifting heavy? Do you see what I mean? Do you see why I'm here? Why we're doing this? So you can understand. And I'm trying to break down for you how to actually, you can get a leaner body. Because if you avoid those little mistakes that I'm teaching you right now, you will get leaner. Deal? The last one, it's one that is hard, like it's heavy on my heart. It's the giving up part. The last part of what to do to get out of plateau is don't giving up. Often I talk to women, they were like, okay, I got on a plateau and my scale's not moving, so I'm going to quit. I'm like, okay, you spend the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks eating healthier, putting so much good food in your body, put nutrients in your body, your hair looks better, your skin looks better, your nails look better, you hydrate, you exercising, you're not getting as tired, you start feeling confident. But because the scale did not change, which is normal, you're telling me you're going to give up? I won't let you give up. Because if you give up, who did you that do for? Like, who did you? I can't speak today. Not today. But why did you do that? Did you do that for a number on the scale, or did you do that for yourself? If you just did for a number on the scale, that is exactly what the problem is. Look, the problem is most of the times the solution. Once you start stopping looking at that stupid scale and you start focus on yourself. Why often we quit the goals that we have? Have you thought about that? Because we make goals based on a scale number instead of making goals of, do you know what? I am actually going to become a leaner person. And that's why I talk so much about leaner lifestyle. It's like, I'm going to become a leaner person. I'm going to start thinking as a leaner person. I'm going to start making decision like I was already a leaner person. Do you see that the difference? It's pretty crazy. One is, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to lose the last 5 pounds of fat. The second one is, I want to become leaner. I want to have a leaner lifestyle. And once you start focusing on this identity, this new identity that you're going to create, this new lifestyle that you're going to create. And it's funny because a lot of women come to me and say, I want a better lifestyle. But I'm all like, great, what is your goal? Yeah, I also want to lose 10 pounds. And I'm like, great, can we pick one? Can we pick an identity-based goal? Because when you do that, you start thinking about, James Clear's talk about this a lot, right? He was like, you don't want to read books, you want to become a reader. It's the exact same thing when thinking about you having a lean body. Because if not, you are not going to sustain, I promise you. And it sucks for me to be the one who says that to you, but you're not going to sustain. If you start thinking about the scale, if you think about the tiny calorie numbers that you are, that's not going to sustain. You need to start thinking about, like, what can I do? What the things that I can do? How can I do to change that so I don't quit? Because the number of the scale doesn't define me. I got very excited about this. And look, I'm here not to blame you. Like, I'm here to like wake you up. Because I talk to women every single day. And I want to make sure you understand that to have a lean body, you need to build this lean lifestyle. So when you start building this is so important. When you start building this, you start becoming that person. And when you start becoming that person, it's so much easier to maintain. Bless you. Thank you. Bless myself. Because think about this. When you're just focusing on losing weight, okay, that's a different thing. But when you actually focus on becoming lean, when you want an actual leaner body, that's a different thing. That's a different route. Okay. So that is the biggest thing we're talking about today. So we talk about today, what is a plateau? Okay. What is not a plateau? How to avoid it and how to get out. I am doing those lives and we're going to come here every single day live because this is a big warm up for the masterclass that is coming. Okay. The masterclass on February 3rd. Make sure you go on my profile link once we're done here and you click there and you save your spot, because there I'm going to teach you exactly what you're doing wrong, exactly what you need to do to have a leaner body and maintain the leaner body, because that's what we want the most, right? Maintain that leaner body for a long time. I want to come and give this knowledge to you and make sure you understand and call you and make sure you have this responsibility. That's your body. I don't know what happened in your life that you end up the way you are now. I don't know. We spend so much time taking care of everybody else, right? And we kind of forget taking care of ourselves. So what I want to make sure you do is you take that step to take care of yourself. You take that step to pay attention to yourself. And what brought you there not necessarily is going to take you out, right? If you actually want to take the next step, if you want to go to the next level, that's the lean body that you want, you need to start doing things different way. Can't keep doing the same things expecting different results. Am I right? Okay. Look, that was my message for today. I want to make sure I save this video. If you have a feedback, I want to send me a message on GM and say, I signed up. I did sign up for the masterclass. Let me know because I'm really excited. We're working so hard on it. We're making sure everything's perfect to you. So you can get out of there knowing exactly what you have to do to get your lean body, to start looking leaner and feeling stronger, because that's what we want. We want that powerful, amazing, strong feeling that we are when we walk. We want to make sure we put any clothes that we want and feel confident. Okay, we want to make sure you're not stop feeling the way you're feeling, like with the low energy. We don't want that. We want to make sure you feel amazing, you feel confident. I want to make sure you look leaner and feel stronger. Okay? And remember, tomorrow we're going to talk about more about training. And next week we're going to do 2 lives a day. One with training. I'm going to bring you to train with me every day. And then at night, we do more classes like that. Because my goal here is actually to teach you and help you and make sure you get that leaner body you want. Okay? Thank you. Amazing. So much. And I'll see you later.